What's up, everybody? JT Best Ball here. You know what time it is. It's the nightcap. Tonight, we do something different. Tonight, we go bananas. So there's a new to me at least, contest out there. I do not believe that it's the first year. Let's hit the intro. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to go over it with you guys, explain how it works. Been reading it a lot the last couple of days to make sure we knew what we were getting into. It sounds like it's a lot of fun, and it has me very intrigued to draft a team today.
I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say.
What is up? What is up? So, if anybody's interested, the name of the site is Banana Best Ball, and it has a 3. So, I'm assuming I'm just new to the party, but they've had it before. I've been talking a lot with one of the guys who's the co founder of it, and the more I found out about it, it sounds pretty interesting. So, we're going to look through it first, that way you guys can see what it's about. Let's see. Here we go. This was the page I was looking for. So you guys know, y'all are best ball fans like me. Y'all are sickos. Y'all haven't touched grass in months. The way it works is, in some ways, very similar. We're going to have 4 rounds. It's going to be weeks 1 through 14. Counts as your regular season. It's best ball. Then you have your 15, 16, 17 playoffs. It's a 15-round draft, so a little bit different than what we're used to. And there's only 10 teams instead of what we're used to being the standard 12 teams. The rosters are going to fill 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. And here's what's very different than what we're used to: 1 defense and special teams. I'm going to scroll down real quick. We'll go up to like some of the payouts in a minute, but I thought it showed down here an example at the bottom. I can't find the page. Oh, here it is. So the way this works, though, and you'll see once we get in the draft, you're just drafting a team's position. And so what you're going to see in the draft is Dallas wide receiver 1 or Dallas wide receiver 2, RB1, that type of stuff. And, here's a perfect example they have laid out for you. Like if I draft Dallas wide receiver 1, it really doesn't matter if CeeDee Lamb has the most points that particular game or if George Pickens has the most particular points that game. Whichever Dallas wide receiver has the most fantasy points, that's whose score is going to count for me. And vice versa, if I had Dallas wide receiver number 2, then I'm going to get the points for the second. It's a fun little concept, and I've been thinking about it for a few days now, kind of thinking about how I want to go about it. As far as the scoring, it's real similar to, say, like DraftKings, where it's like a full point PPR. You get the 4 points for the passing touchdown. They have the bonuses like on DraftKings. That's why I said that. 3 points for your quarterbacks when they hit 300 yards. Rushing and receiving, you get 3 points. I think I said it's a full point PPR, not just a half point. Defense, if you play in any regular fantasy leagues, the season long redraft with the defense, it's pretty similar. I mean, you get the 6 for the touchdown, the points for how many points the defense gives up, pretty similar, pretty standard right there. 1 point for a sack, 2 points for an interception. Sorry about that. The one thing too I didn't mention on scoring, I did notice that they deduct a point per interception. And the other thing that is a little different, let me see if it says it here. There was one page where it said it. So everything is based off of Ethereum, and I think when I worked it out earlier, essentially it's about $35 to buy a draft on this particular site. And you can see that first place would pay out 8.139 Ethereum. They have a lot of wrinkles though, like you'll see whenever I get my draft, there's going to be this little wheel that I get to spin. And like if you land on matchup 3 Hall of Fame things, then that draft automatically becomes a Hall of Fame draft, which you would then be eligible for all the big normal prizes, but you get placed, I think, into like a separate pool where you can also win like a little side prize. If it's kind of like a sprint format, my understanding, you guys from Underdog, y'all know what the sprint is. It's kind of like you're playing for the normal regular season or regular playoff prize and advancing each week, but then you also get placed in a pod that is kind of like the sprint format where just the top person wins that. There's little weekly prizes each week. I think out of the whole tournament, whatever team finishes first, you get a tiny little payday there. Um, it's pretty interesting though. Let me see here. I was trying to look for one other thing, but I don't think it's on this page. I think it was on somewhere else. But so it's based off of Ethereum, but my understanding is you can use a credit card, and then just however much money you're wanting to pay to essentially buy your amount of drafts, you will then, it'll transfer. Or here it goes. This is what I was looking for. It on their site, if you're interested in trying it out, it gives you pretty detailed instructions how to do it. It's pretty simple. That same wheel that gives you the Hall of Fame potential, it also, if you line up 3 jackpots, you'll see it in a minute whenever we jump into a draft. If you get 3 jackpots on the little slot machine looking wheel thing, then your league automatically becomes a jackpot league, meaning if you finish top in your pod out of the 10 teams, then you automatically advance to their best ball finals. You do not have to go through the one of the 2-10. Week 15 is a 10-person pod in the first round of the playoffs. Week 16 is a 10-person pod. 2 people from, weeks 1-14 advance. 2 people is basically 2 out of 10 all the way to the finals. But if you were to get lucky and hit this jackpot, which it says 1% of all drafts will become jackpot pods, and if yours is one of those lucky 1%, then basically you advance straight to the finals if you win your pod. You do not have to go through the playoffs at all. You're just automatically entered into the finals to go for the big prizes. These prizes, and if somebody's in here who has done more of these drafts than me, please feel free to comment in the comment section if I'm wrong on anything or if you just want to clarify something a little better. But my understanding are these are the guaranteed prizes, and there is no cap. Whereas on Underdog, the tournament's going to be 850,000 people or 203,000 people. As many people sign up, they will just keep adding and adding and adding and increasing to the prize pools. These are the guaranteed prize pools. I think the guy I was talking with today, who's one of the co-founders, I think he said it's 75% full to the guarantees. So there's a good chance, in the next 40 days or so, those prize totals could get even bigger. So we're going to go ahead and hop in one and check it out. First, before we do though, I guess let me hop over real quick and say what's up to everybody. Dirty Peas here. Mark's in here, smashing the like as usual. We appreciate it. Smash the like, hit the subscribe button. You guys know how it works. If you guys like this, fill out the little poll. I may end up streaming some more of these because it definitely has me very intrigued as to how it all is going to work. Let's go ahead and hop in one, boys, and see what it's like. We have 7 out of 10 people. Again, it's just 10. It sounds like a fun concept. I've been thinking today all day long how I want to play it. There are definitely some teams that I want to target in this. There are definitely some. I'm interested to see the ADPs. I will be honest. This is the first time that I've did it. Um, I went back and did a little homework today. It was about a week ago, but I know Who Hames tried one of these out. And so shout out to Who Hames. I went back today and I watched part of his stream when he was streaming it, just because I wanted to see, kind of how it all worked in an actual draft. I think I got a pretty good, feel for how it works. We'll see how long it takes to fill up. But there are definitely some things I want to target. There's certain teams like, let's Dallas for one, the clear example that they give there. I think like, being able to just take Dallas's wide receiver one, and most of the time you're going to get credit for the points for CeeDee Lamb, but then those few games where maybe Pickens went nuts with 2 long touchdowns, bam, you got those points for Pickens instead. So we'll see how it works. It looks like it is field. And here's the little, it's like we just missed the jackpot, boys. Go to draft room. Here it is. These are our players list, but it's not really players. You can see how it works. We have top of the board. It looks like ADPs are pretty similar as far as Cincinnati wide receiver 1, Minnesota wide receiver 2, Philly running back 1. Sorry, I hate when I do that. You can see the Dallas is up there, and the ADPs, that's what I noticed with Who Hames, and we'll see once we get out of the first round. We start one quarterback, I believe it, what I say, one quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex, and then the defense. We'll see how it works. This is our first one. And I did pick up from watching Who Hames that you can change your name up there. So we went ahead and we changed our name. We'll see what we do here at the 4th spot. Dallas wide receiver 1 is kind of who we were hoping to go with. I think we got to click them like that. They have a board. The board looks kind of neat, It's color coded like we're used to, just a little different colors. So we started off with Dallas wide receiver 1. The defense, I think, adds a little interesting factor to it also, in the fact that it's only 15 rounds. So, we still need to, you don't have to worry about injuries, of course, because, okay, even if CeeDee Lamb gets hurt, we still now have George Pickens or whoever else has the best game at receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. So that aspect of it's nice. But with it only being 15 rounds and you have to have a defense, you essentially start what? Quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a flex, a tight end, and a defense. So you still have to start 8 positions. That only leaves you 7 total bench spots to work with. So it may get a little tricky, kind of making sure you account for your bye weeks. Good. I was wondering if it showed us our bye weeks on the team page. Looks like it does. Um, let's see how it's going. So we had Gibbs going back here. Well, I'm so used to saying Gibbs. We had Detroit's RB1 and San Francisco's running back 1 going back here at the 9 spot. The 10 spot went with the Raiders and Baltimore's RB1. In my opinion, I think there's some that's, traditionally wouldn't be teams I want to move up or down based on certain things, like the Raiders being one of them, or like even Baltimore's running backs, both of those right there in the 12 hole. Like, yeah, the studs are the studs, right? Let me see. We're getting a little close here. I think I want to go. Hmm. I'm going to go ahead and just take Miami's running back. Hopefully, Achan stays healthy. That kind of sounds nice to me with it being, especially the full point PPR. And I have something else I want to do next. We'll we'll see when it gets to me here in a minute. Their bye week is 12, 11. I have a little strategy I wanted to try to do. We're going to see if we can make it work. Then we'll look at the team and see how it's going. Top of the board is KC wide receiver 1, Tampa's running back 1, Seattle's wide receiver 1. Ooh, down a little bit actually. Oh no, I think they just took the guys I wanted. Huh. Oh no, there they are. We're going to go with Indy running back 1. You guys know, if you watch my streams, how I feel about Mr. DJ Giddens. I'm also notoriously pretty in on JT this year. Kind of have to be, right? But I feel like they're very good because they are going to try to center their whole team essentially around, running. So all right, I got Jonathan Taylor, I got, JT. He's a stud. If he was to get hurt, I still got my favorite late round running back, Giddens, to step in and take over. So I don't know if it's right. Again, this is the first draft that I've done on here. We did do a little homework though. You guys know me. I'm competitive. I like to do my research. What's up, Green Bean? We're trying something new tonight. We're getting bananas with it. It's a fun concept. So I'm trying it out. I was looking for Miami running back 1 telepathically. I feel like you heard me. Yes, I heard you, Dirty P. We think alike, my friend. Dirty P is going to be the viewer choice this Sunday. If y'all missed it the other day, I made a midstream executive decision. Dirty P hangs out with me just about every night, dang near the whole stream. So we just went ahead and we named him for this Sunday. We're not even going to spin the wheel. Dirty P, if you're in if you're in like Who Hames Discord, I think you said you were, you can find me in there and send me a DM and tell me what drafts, or just tell me in here or whatever. Or you can tell me Sunday. We can do like, try to get into a sprint if you want. Or if the sprint doesn't feel, or you just rather have a BBM, we can do a BBM. I want to get into some sprints. They're just so hard to feel. I'm going to flip back over real quick because I want to kind of look through here. Where do quarterbacks generally go? 52-ish for. Okay, so quarterbacks don't seem to go that high. That would kind of make sense. I don't like that. I don't like that. I hate that they have the same bye week there. It's about to be on us. Hmm. We're on the clock. We got about 20 seconds. I'm trying to think about it. Because they have I really want to go Chargers. They have the same bye week. That's the only reason I was hesitant. But it's 1 week, right? We have 1 week, week 12 buys. We have to start two running backs, so maybe we have to take a fourth set of running backs at some point. That's not week 12. I think every time somebody makes a pick, it jumps me up to the top. And we have to start two receivers. How are the tight ends? They go okay. 36, 44. Let's look at the board. 57. I guess we could have just clicked. Oh, I'm still trying to work around it. And see, there's some teams it's like I don't think it's as good of advantage. Carolina wide receiver one. Well, like the weeks that Tet doesn't have a big game, like I don't know if I'm that excited to draft the other ones or to have the other ones hit in my lineup. They just went anyways. You know what, guys? I'm gonna do a couple of these. I don't know how many we're gonna do, but we got to kind of take our boy Lamar, right? I mean, you guys know how I am about Lamar. In this format, too, I mean, I get a 3-point bonus if he goes over 300 yards passing. I get a 3-point bonus if he goes over 100 yards rushing. They count off. I think quarterbacks might be kind of important here because most best ball sites don't really count off, for like an interception. But they do count off a point for an interception here. So we're going to get the quarterback party started. I think his ADP was like 52. I didn't think he was coming back to me at 57. And we wanted to rock with Lamar as our quarterback. And then kind of go from there. I like the concept, though. I do. It's a fun concept. I like the fact that the advance rate, seems now the one caveat is we do not know yet, my understanding, how big the finals will actually be because they won't increase the week 15 and week 16. It's going to be a 10-team pod, top two advance. Week 15 is going to be a 10-team pod, two people advance. Same thing with week 16. But because the tournament doesn't have any total number caps to it, then the bigger the tournament gets, just the more pods they'll have in week 15. And then the more pods essentially will be there in week 16 to where the bigger and bigger the finals will be. I don't know if somebody's watching who played it last year or who knows a lot more than me. Give us in the chat an estimate of what you think the final size will be. Are we talking like 100, a couple hundred? I'm curious to know that. We have some more running backs going. Denver RB1. That's a good RB1 to get there. Houston's RB1. We got three. Eventually, we may need to try to get one more, but there's still some decent ones left on the board. I feel like we need some more receivers too. We only have the one receiver combo so far. So I think we may end up going receiver here. We can put off tight end a little bit, I think. Definitely not going for defense yet. I think we can hit receiver with this pick and then just kind of see what we want to do next time. By week 10, that makes it a little tougher, I think. A lot of by week 10s for people that we want, at least. KC or Minnesota RB1. I think we're going to go with Minnesota RB1. They have Jones, they have Mason there. Probably should have went KC looking at it now with it being a full point PPR, but McCarthy might dump off to the running back some too. Touchdowns still count for 6. We got to get some receivers here, but I was going to take Tennessee. There's some teams I feel like too are better than others as far as their wide receiver twos. I'll go to the board after this and we'll see what others are doing. We're going to go with the Rams wide receiver two. I think that could be a really good one. We got Puka, we got Devontae Adams there. I don't think I need another set of running backs now, do we? We have 4, and we just wanted to get one more essentially to especially help cover that double week 12 bye. We have a flex spot, so 2 of the 3 technically could hit our lineup. With it being full point PPR, we do want to have a chance for receivers to hit our lineup too, though. But there's a lot of teams where I think wide receiver 2 can be pretty dang valuable. And so that was kind of one of my strategies going in. One of my strategies or part of my strategy was I wanted to lock up some of the running back rooms that I could get that I felt good about. Like I especially the full PPR format. I love Miami's room. I like Indy and I like the Chargers room. Maybe I shouldn't have went with the Minnesota pick there. I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at the board. We got a few picks until it gets back to us. It is 4 points for passing touchdown, but you get a 3-point bonus if they throw for 300 yards, and you get a 3-point bonus in Lamar's case if he runs for 100 yards also. So Lamar is one of the few quarterbacks that in a really nuts game, I could see him actually hitting both bonuses in the same game. Yeah, there's some others that could do it. Josh runs, shorter distances generally than Lamar. So another part of my strategy, or what I think I would like to be my strategy, if we can make it work. There's some wide receiver twos that we really like that I think can be really usable. Well, and our plan just kind of backfired on us a little bit. I think that guy right before me is auto picking because every time it goes down to the timer, we'll go ahead and take a wide receiver 2 here. We already have Dallas. Let's take I'm gonna go reach down a little bit. Oh, I don't want to do it that far yet, do we? We clicked them. We got it in, I think, right? We went ahead and reached down a little bit and took Detroit's wide receiver 2. I thought about going with KC, but I guess it wouldn't have mattered actually because the Rams have a week 8 bye also. I guess the one thing I noticed that I'm used to with underdog is it would be nice if maybe in the future they could have it like underdog where you could see your team over here so you could easily see the bye weeks of your teams without having to flip back and forth. I don't know what we want to do with tight end. We were actually going to take Baltimore's tight end and just probably only take Baltimore's tight end. But I'm pretty sure the guy right before us auto picked it. We're going to take KC's wide receiver 2. So I do have a lot of bye week issues, but remember, we don't have to worry about injuries, and we only have to technically start 2 wide receivers. We don't have any running backs that are week 8 or week 10. So, the 2 weeks that we have trouble at wide receiver, essentially we could just, like week 8, for instance, we'll still have whoever Dallas's wide receiver 1 is, whoever KC's wide receiver 2 is, and then we have 4 different running backs that can kind of 3 of them fill the 2 running back spots and the flex spots. What did I say we have? We have 15, I think I said. Yes, 15. And we only made 9 picks. Defenses are starting to go off the board a little bit. So are tight ends now, it looks like. I was 1 pick away. What we were going to do is take Baltimore's tight end between Andrews and, we have Likely there also. And I was probably just going to eat tight end points the week that Baltimore was on a bye week because I felt like that would give me an extra roster spot. With 15 and having to start defenses and stuff too, I just feel like, it might be kind of tough. There's still plenty of good quarterbacks out there. I don't think we need to stress for a quarterback yet. I feel like maybe we could even wait a little bit on tight end since the elite ones are gone. I see some stuff that's kind of interesting to me. We'll see if it comes back. Actually, a couple things that's kind of interesting. Let me we pick 97 and 104. '97 and 104. I think I'm good with I don't want to really take RB2s. That's why we went and got the 4 RB1s. I feel like wide receiver 2s are going to be more valuable than running back 2s will be. And there's some juicy teams right in this mix here. like the Jags. You know, we got Hunter, we got BTJ. So let's take them. That gives us a little more firepower there. Now we have 5 receivers. We got to get one more quarterback. We don't want to eat quarterback spot. So we'll say one quarterback. If I do 1, if I do 2, 1, and then we'll have a free spot to play with. The way that I'm thinking I want to finish this off and do this. What do you guys think? Let me know. What do y'all think about this spoiled bananas? Is it something that, or banana ball, banana best ball, that's what they call it. Is this something you think intrigues you at all? So one thing I was thinking I could do defensively to kind of help free up a roster spot too. I'm super in on my Texans defense. Plus, as a fan, it'll be fun. We're going to get sacks. We're not going to give up tons of points in a lot of games, at least. And we're going to get interceptions. You know, we got an all-world corner out there who can make some very acrobatic picks. The secondary is good. Got a ball hawk safety coming into his own in year 2. We got Hunter and Will Anderson on the edges bringing the heat. I think my plan is just to only rock with their defense. Essentially, I'll just eat defensive points. How much points does a defense get you anyways? I mean, yes, when they hit a touchdown or something. But I just feel like I might be better off eating the points one week on a defense since I feel really good about my Texans defense in general. Let's see what wide receivers were left. There's still some of the wide receivers left that I thought were pretty juicy picks. One of them just went. Do they go as far as go down to no, only wide receiver 2s? I was about to say, I don't think I want any wide receiver 3s. Let's just click on all for a little bit. Some pretty good tight end rooms left. Dallas, Pittsburgh. We might go tight end here. I wish it showed you who the other person picked too. It moves off. I mean, I guess yes, we could go to the board to find out. I was hoping that Drake May essentially would come back right there, and he did not. But at the end of the day, it's fine because we have Lamar. So we're going to go grab us one more of these juicy wide receivers. And you know what? We're going to just target Minnesota. Yeah, we might not have JJ because he'll normally be their wide receiver 1. But we have, the games they rely on the running backs. We have their RB1 and we have their wide receiver 2 from Minnesota now. It's coming back to us. Do we want to go with a tight end finally? Tight end is getting a little bit gross. But tight end points don't really, count for a ton anyways. Do we want to push quarterback one more time? Yeah, there's still decent enough quarterbacks. I'm going to go ahead and take Washington's tight end. He liked throwing to Ertz a lot last year. Washington's tight end, and then there's a couple that we think might have some potential to go with as a second tight end. Maybe late. We'll see. What do we have here? 2 picks left, right? We got to get a quarterback. We're going to go ahead next time and take a quarterback. And then after that, we can grab whatever tight ends left, call it a day, look at our team a little bit, see what it's like. Yeah, that's fair, Dirty P. That's definitely fair. You know, I just figured I'd give it a try, see what it was like. I saw Who Hames streaming it the other day, and it just looked fun. At the end of the day, that's why we draft these teams, right? Because it looks fun. My plan kind of got spoiled a little bit. I was 1 pick away. I really wanted to take Baltimore right there with that pick instead of Detroit's wide receiver 2, because then I would have had the stack with Lamar and his tight ends, and we would have just kept it at 1 tight end and probably still felt better about the tight end room overall than we will with Washington and whatever tight end we take in the last round. And that would have allowed us to, we were going to also try to get Drake May. Where did he end up going? Right there. Well, no, we still would have taken Houston's defense there, but oh well. Like on Underdog, it doesn't always work out the way we want it to. When this draft is over, we'll look at the team though a little bit, see what we think about it. We can talk about it more if y'all want, but then we'll go draft something on Underdog too. Not sure what I might draft a puppy tonight. That sucker fills up so quick, and we really want to get some puppies in. Let's see. I should know it off the top of my head, but yes, week 7 is Lamar's bye. So we just need a quarterback who is not week 7. Let's go. Let's go with Atlanta. We'll go with Penix. When it comes back to us, we got to take a tight end. I think let's see. We had week 12 is Washington's bye. So the Chargers are the only one that's kind of off the table. They are all kind of gross. I think we're going to just go ahead and go with New Orleans. I'd be interested to know. I didn't pick it because of that. I picked it because of Johnson. But I am kind of interested now that I picked them, thinking about it. I wonder if, let's say, late in the season, if the team makes the playoffs, could you possibly get Taysom Hill as a tight end? A lot of sites count him as a tight end. I'd be curious to know what the Banana Best Ball site counts Taysom Hill as. Oh, one very interesting thing that is way above my head. I would have to look into even how to do it because I'm not an NFT guy, but I almost forgot to talk about it. So essentially, as soon as your team is finished drafting, as soon as your draft is over, your team actually becomes like an NFT. And my understanding is like, let's say this team kills it during the regular season, they finish first in their pod, they make the playoffs. Like, if somebody wants to offer me Ethereum for the rights to my team, essentially you can sell your team, you can sell the NFT, which then gives them the rights to your team. Or you could go out, maybe you were really into this format and you didn't have any teams that made the playoffs or in the finals. You want a good sweat in the finals. If you really wanted to, you could go out and buy yourself a finals team. Might cost you a pretty penny, I'm sure. I don't think, but here it is. Your card, select card. That's my card, I guess. I guess they call it a card. But this is the team. We have Baltimore and Atlanta's quarterbacks. So essentially, unless they're hurt, Penix and my boy Lamar. Miami's RB1, Indy's RB1, the Chargers, and Minnesota. We wanted to go after 4 RBs, all running back ones. We didn't want to get into running back twos. Wide receiver, we started with CD, and then we have the Rams wide receiver 2, Detroit's wide receiver 2, KC's wide receiver 2, Jacksonville's wide receiver 2, Minnesota's wide receiver 2. That was the other part of the plan. We missed out on trying to get Baltimore's tight end to go with Lamar. And then the other part of our plan to this was we wanted to take 4 running back ones that we liked, and we figured we could get 1 wide receiver 1, but then we would have to get a bunch of wide receiver 2s. And so if you remember, I was just kind of hitting them in a row there, and that was kind of the plan, to target all these teams that I really liked the wide receiver 2 on, like the Rams, Detroit, KC, Jacksonville, Minnesota. Tight end room is weak, but hopefully Ertz can do something and Johnson can do something for us. Texans defense should come through for us. But we'll check back on it throughout the season. I don't know how many of these I'll do. I'll probably end up doing one more of them, not tonight necessarily, but a different night, and we'll probably stream it. Why not, right? I believe it or not, I stream a high percentage of my drafts simply because I do not have that much time during the day to stream. But we'll hop over to Underdog now. And let's see, what do we want to draft, guys? I think I'm going to do a puppy first. The puppy's filling up, isn't it? They have some new contests. Whoa, I don't know what happened there. The German Shepherd's almost full, or it's getting there. The, the Bulldog just came out today, and these sickos already have that sucker 71% full on a 2 max tournament. We're definitely going to get my 2 in. I might just have to do them slow. I don't know. You guys hit me with some likes. If y'all bump the likes up, tag your friends in Discord and tell them to come hop in JT's Best Ball. If we get enough viewers in here, or we get some likes going tonight, maybe we could even rip one of these boys on stream tonight. Because I really don't necessarily want to do both of them slow. I'm definitely doing the 2. I think it's an awesome tournament. I mean, yes, it's high dollar. It's $75. I consider that high dollar at least. But the advance rates, right? Look at it. 3 of 12. Mark, if you're out there listening and you're going to play in a high dollar tournament this year, this is definitely the high dollar tournament to play in my opinion. 3 of 12 make it out of round 1. 2 of 6. So essentially, you only have to make sure you beat 4 teams in week 15. Then you get to week 16 and it's only 1 of 4, so that's not bad at all either. 31 seats in the final, so very realistic chance if you make the final, you only got to beat 30 teams. Top prize of 20,000, 10,000 to second, 5,500 to third. I heard Steve point out earlier when I was watching him on the fan speak that you basically double, it's only a 2 max, 75 bucks. So it's $150, to play your 2 entries. If you just make the finals, you double that. You make 300, which is twice as much as you spent total if you do both of your entries. So we will definitely be doing Bulldogs. I'm not sure if I'll do them on stream or not. I'll be honest with you guys, being a new streamer, like I did both of my Dalmatians. I only did 2 Dalmatians and I did both of them off stream. If you guys are interested, you could put it in the comments and maybe I could do some of them as a video or something, but I still don't know if I would even do that, come to think of it. It's not so much that I don't want you guys in the room. Maybe next year we can do that. For me, it's I feel like I'm building some pretty good teams on stream, but I can't lie. There are times where trying to keep up with the chat, trying to make sure, we're talking about what we're doing, walking through this, because it is a stream, right? Nobody wants to come hang out with me if I just sit here quiet all night. And I enjoy talking with you guys. But it is still hard for me to be just totally 100%, zoned in on the draft. We're getting better with it, I feel like, than we were 2 months ago when we started. But that said, I think I'll probably end up doing my Bulldogs off stream. But for now, we puppy. So it is 10:52. I'm gonna hop in a puppy at 10:53 on the dot if somebody wants to hop in the puppy with me. Puppy 2. Got to get our puppies in. It's another one that's filling quick. I want to get more volume in the puppy 2 than I do the Superflex this time around. And we entered 9 spots available. So anybody who wants to get in, there's room. Got a fast Bulldog in. Running backs flew, waiting in slow for Bulldog 2. That might be what I have to do. I might have to do 1 slow, 1 fast kind of thing. See how it goes. Let's see. How many we waiting on? Waiting on 3. So come on in. You guys hop in. What do you guys think of the Jaden Blue is lazy news that came out today? Are y'all buying it? If you were drafting Blue, is he a no-go for you right now? Look at there. Dirty P hopped in it with us. I have the 1 hole. He has the 2 hole. Not sure if I recognize anybody else, but if you are in the draft, let me know and we will be sure to shout you out. See what we do from the 1 hole. I'm not really sure which way we want to play it right this second, but we'll figure it out. Which way we want to play it in the second and third round, that is. I mean, we're going chase. We want as much chase as we can get. One thing I've been playing around with, if you guys are subscribed to the Best Ball Overlay, it is a great tool. They keep improving it. I notoriously was hesitant on it whenever it first, was being talked about a lot. But I'll be honest with you, the more that I've played around with it, there's just so much about it I honestly like myself, especially streaming, but even when I'm off stream, I mean, I love the fact that without even having to think or without having to memorize, I can see all three playoff matchups for each player because like I talk about all the time, that's kind of my go-to thing is like I want to build my teams with as much team correlation first and foremost while also attacking players that I like who also have favorable playoff schedules. Like one person of note, Josh Jacobs, since the schedule came out, you see my percentages falling off to a little under 2% of him because I don't want to take a running back in at the 2-3 turn who has to play at Denver, at Chicago, and then at home in Green Bay against Baltimore for the playoff weeks. So I do take Jacob some in the eliminator format, but I've stayed away from him in regular formats pretty much since the schedule came out. And then this combination tool, I've kind of gotten really into using it here. If I'm sure you know how it works by now. Like I took Jamar Chase first. They just updated it. You used to have to kind of like type in, what player you were looking for. But now as it starts to get close to me here and as the players are drafted, just like a draft board, they come off of there. So it essentially shows you, the available players left. I can see that I have 20% JT with Jamar Chase. I have 20% Hill with Jamar Chase. If we flip over, like, take those off, quarterbacks, we don't have any Josh Allen with him. We do have 20% Lamar with him. We have 40% Garrett Wilson. We don't have any Devonte Adams. Maybe we could go with Devonte Adams. We do have 50% Higgins. We have 0% Bucky. That isn't a surprise if you know me. 40% Garrett Wilson with Jamar Chase. And this is where it can become useful, because I actually, if you guys remember, we talked about, you know what, it's a puppy. Let's see if we can get the Burrow discount thing. See if Dirty P or somebody else will let it come to me. We're gonna go Higgins, but then I don't know who else we want because I don't like Jacobs. You know what? Just because we don't have any of him with Jamar Chase, we're gonna go ahead and take Marv this time because we have 40% Garrett Wilson with Jamar Chase. And this is where that tool can really become useful. I remember talking 2 weeks ago to somebody, we were in particular, we were talking about what I'm clearly trying to do now, get the Burrow to come all the way back to the 6-7 turn. Yes, you have a better chance of doing it with when you have T. Higgins and when you have Jamar Chase. If somebody wants to take him unstacked, whatever, they can have him. We'll have a different quarterback. But for the longest or a lot of times, my backup plan, because he's one of my favorite players right here, early third round, anyways, Garrett Wilson. So a lot of times I would make sure that one of my 2-3 turn picks was Garrett Wilson because then if I don't get even if I just had Chase, let's say, it was a team where I went Devonte Adams and Garrett Wilson here. Well, if the Higgins drafter took Burrow before he got to me in round 6, I just always pivoted to taking Fields with Garrett Wilson. That said, I like that combination a lot, But right now, I have almost half of my Jamar Chase teams with Garrett Wilson. And I just, at the same time, I love these players and I'm not afraid of high percentages. Clearly, y'all see some of my percents when I show y'all my exposures. I still want to be smart with it, right? And like, yes, injuries can happen. You're only going to get so many Jamar Chase teams. I only have 9%, almost 10% Jamar Chase. Do I really want half of those teams riding on, what Garrett Wilson does also? No, I really don't. You know, I'll still draft him some more with Jamar Chase teams. If it's at 25 to 30% of my Jamar Chase teams has Garrett Wilson on it, I'm fine with that because, in particular, I don't really like a whole lot of the people that are normally at the 2-3 turn to begin with. That's why I do fun stuff like pull Lamar up and put him with Jamar Chase sometimes. Probably should do that with Allen, come to think about it. Let's see. We could push running back a little more. Let's go. I think we want to go with Devontae and George Pickens. So the team so far, we actually just said we're going strong wide receiver, and we are not scared of week 10. We're taking Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, did Marvin Harrison. Notoriously, I'm not that in on him. I only have 1.9% of him. Could he be a lot better this year? Sure. I probably shouldn't be under 2%, like as many teams as I'm drafting. I don't want to be like 7 or 8% even on Marv, but if I finish with 3% Marvin Harrison, that's not the end of the world. If we're going to do it, might as well do it with Chase. We didn't have that combination any, and they do actually play each other week 17, as we all know. Dirty P is multi-tabling. Got the bully spot. I don't know. I got Chase Brown for the stack. Hey, go ahead, my man. We will take other quarterbacks. We're not afraid to just rock with other quarterbacks. I don't think I've actually gotten Burrow to come back to the 6-7. I don't normally go with Higgins and Chase. Let's see how many. I'd be curious to know. And see, even though he's already drafted, we could still look it up if we really want to. You just have to click on all. T. Higgins. Well, I guess I have him on half of my Jamar Chase teams. I guess I've done it more than I thought I did. But we only have about 10% Chase teams to begin with. So at the end of the day, that's not a lot. Somebody did take Burrow unstacked, which is fine. We still get all the wide receiver points when they hit. I feel like Underdog moved this little draft board thing. Is it just me? I feel like it used to be right here on the left somewhere, and now it's over here on the right side of that little part. Am I crazy? Amon St. Brown, Brian Thomas, Jaden Daniels, Mike Evans, and unstacked Joe Burrow. What is the 12 hole over there doing to us? There's just no need for that. I think we want to go with Pacheco. Let's go Pacheco and Swift. Let's just go ahead and get us a couple running backs. We started with 5 receivers. We need to get some running backs. We'll go Pacheco and Smith. Sounds like a nice little winning combination to me. Let me check something real quick. What's Dirty doing over there? CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams. CD in the 2 spot. I just noticed that. Okay. Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, Chuba, Diggs, Mooney. I likes. Something tells me this team of mine is going to end up at some point with at least 1, possibly 2 unstacked quarterbacks, just the way it seems to be going. I'm not one to push Burrow. I'd rather have my full allotment of Chase, Burrow than risk only having a couple teams or maybe none with a push. Clown in the 2 hole with a massive reach on Mooney. What a donkey. Hey, go get your guy. Mooney's a good player. I need to let me look at something real quick on a different tab. I guess not. You know what, Dirty P? I might have to start doing that because I don't seem to be as lucky as everybody else. We only have about 4% Joe Burrow, and I very rarely take him at the turn. I wish I wish there was a way you could easily find your teams. If any of you guys have connections to the underdog peeps, that would be, or maybe even best ball over. No, best ball overlay, I don't think could do that. If we had a way that we could just like search, like type in Burrow's name somewhere in your exposure or something, and it pull up all of the teams with Joe Burrow on it, that would be a really cool feature, in my opinion. That would be super cool the more I think about it. You know, you could just go through all your Burrow teams, see where exactly you got him with, who you have him stacked with. Let's see. We may go back to running back. I don't think there's any tight ends that we want to rock with right here. We'll just stay on this page because it's about to be on us. Just got to make it through that 3 hole. And then, as Dirty P says, the wild man in the 2 hole. Out there getting his guys. Drake May. I kind of saw that one coming. You know, another guy, because we don't draft much McBride and because we take very little Marv, we only have like 1% Kyler. So if we're going to take Kyler, it might as well be a team where week 5, I don't want to do that. Let's take Higgins. If we're going to take Kyler, it might as well be a team where we have Marv and then also we have the 2 Cincinnati receivers. Maybe Jamar Chase and T. Higgins just help us get to the playoffs. And then in week 17, maybe it's just one of them that has a pretty dang good game and the other one does nothing. But Marvin Harrison and Kyler go off. You just don't know. Those were some reaches. But in Dak's case, you have CD Lamb, and there's no guarantee that he is going to come back to 119. We've already seen people in the room willing to, grab him, and there's no right or wrong way, right? That's the beauty of this. Like, I think me and you are a little bit different, and I am definitely more of a, I really want to try to push my quarterbacks. Sometimes I get them right at ADP. Very rarely do I reach for my quarterbacks, even if it makes a nice little pretty stack. But I know plenty of people who are like that. My friend Mark, he's more of the, like, I'm gonna line up my stacks. Even if I got to get my guy a little early. I drafted CD Lamb. I believe I saw you had Diggs on the team too. Absolutely nothing wrong, in my opinion, with going with Drake May and Dak Prescott a little early. You're on the corner, so like you're not getting both of them. At worst, you would have had to reach right here for one of them at 98, and then you could have maybe got one to come back at 119. Probably Dak. Drake wouldn't have came back there. But if you would have taken Dak there, Drake there, Dak may have came back. But I was going to say the Brock Purdy pick could have been it. Somebody could have easily taken Dak unstacked. So, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people prefer to draft that way, other people don't. You know, you'll have some different teams, and because not everybody is willing to take Drake early at 95 and then Dak early at 98, you're going to have those stacks paired with, a little bit different guys than somebody who waited. That could very much play out to your advantage. I think we're going to go Ramondre with one of the picks. Hmm. And maybe go with Kirk for a seventh receiver, maybe. Sure, why not? The receiver room has all the firepower it needs. Probably should have kept it at 6, but we wanted to go ahead and take him. I told y'all, I love doing the Higgins Kirk thing. By the way, which just kind of feeds into my story I was talking about the other night, about how I think the Texans are going to be more of a pass team this year, and how, if I think it was last night or the night before, I was talking about how CJ off season 2 years ago versus off season this year has just been stone cold quiet. Nothing in social media, nothing, out there doing this promotional thing and that promotional thing. Really think the boy was just putting his head down and going to work. I saw on the Texans social media stuff today some pictures of him just walking around in the locker room during OTAs or whatever a few weeks ago. And I'll say that he looks, from what I remember the last 2 years, like he was definitely in the weight room to get in better shape. Like CJ, he always kind of had what I would consider pudgy legs. His legs weren't really like super muscular or nothing like, some running backs or whatever. But he was a really thick dude. He moved okay for it, but he was kind of a thicker guy, especially in his like legs and stuff. But he looks like he lost a little bit of weight, but then he was wearing kind of a tight shirt, and you could tell that it wasn't he's been working out. Let's just say that. He's been working out, I think, really hard this off season, ready to come back and kill it after having kind of a down sophomore year. Got a new coordinator who says he's gonna let CJ cook, essentially. We got to figure out what we want to do with QB2. I told y'all I saw it coming. I knew I was going to end up having some unstacked quarterbacks, probably. We have Kyler as our first. We're definitely taking Penix here just because we need a quarterback really, really bad. I don't know. We don't need another wide receiver. I guess we're going to hold off a little bit on running backs. Let's just go ahead and take our next guy. 8-5. Do we want to go with Bryce or Cam Ward? We're going to reach down a little bit. I don't know. Probably should have went with Bryce. But we'll go Cam Ward. I think part of it is I think Jacksonville won't have that great of a defense, but clearly Jacksonville is going to have a pretty good offense. I don't know. Maybe I should have went with Bryce Young. Bryce Young probably made more sense, come to think of it, there, because they play in a weaker overall division as far as the defenses that Bryce Young will have to face. I guess part of it was there's just a unknown factor in Ward. I feel like I'm kind of in on Bryce Young this year. If hopefully he can play like he did at the end of last year, but based on what I've seen now from 2 years of Bryce Young, I definitely don't anticipate or see just some huge step, right? Like I don't see him going from like how he was playing at the end of last year when he was pretty good to just like super killing it, a guy you have to have. Probably that's not Cam Ward either, but we don't know. There is the unknown factor. What's up, Hartman? Good to see you stopping by, my friend. It's not typically that I reach on my QB stacks, but I had 3 running backs, 4 receivers. So just lock up my QBs at that spot. And you're cooking. I mean, yeah, I just talked about it. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You made sure and you got your Drake May and your Dak Prescott to go with your Diggs and your Lamb. I talked about how taking unstacked quarterbacks was something that I recently realized I probably need to be willing to do more of in order just to make some and certain teams of mine better. Probably reaching a slight bit to make sure I secure stacks probably is something else that I should work on a little bit from time to time, at least. It's just hard. The later I get, the more I'm willing to do it. Like with Dak, I have reached a little bit to make sure I get him with, Lamb or whatever, or like with CJ. This particular team, the Burrow one, it's so hard for me to do that because in order to do it, I mean, you're giving up, taking some really good players like Devontae or George Pickens. And I know it can be done. I know it can. You can get him back at the 6th spot. We still do not have a tight end. Guessing it's just going to be a gross tight end room. We're going to grab Dylan Sampson. We don't know how long Jacobs is going to be out. I don't really want to go with another receiver. Let's just keep adding to the non-quarterback but all of the pass catchers, because we still like team correlation, right? It could work. We got Chase Higgins, and now we threw Gasicki on there. It could work. Maybe there's a week where Chase and Gasicki go off, but Higgins is kind of quiet. We needed a tight end anyways. We didn't have one. There's only 3 picks after this left. Probably going to be a 3 tight end room anyways. If we take 2 more tight ends, that'll give us a 5th running back. We do have Pacheco Smith. We have Ramondre, Dylan Sampson. It's kind of really pushing it. We may bite the bullet and just rock with 2 tight ends to be able to pick up a 6th running back. Because we have to think ahead too for the playoffs, right? Like, yes, Judkins will miss some time early with the suspension and all, probably. But like, he'll still probably be playing at the end of the year. And if he comes in and steals a lot of work from Sampson, if I only have one more running back, essentially we could be really counting on these 3, which, Ramondre's a guy that late in the year could definitely, lose a lot of work to the rookie. So I think we just talked ourselves into one more tight end. But unfortunately, it can't be Chig probably because then we would have 2 tight ends on week 10 bye. It's not my favorite team, but we're trying to finish it off. Sorry about that. I was looking at a text from my wife. In the 16th round, trying to finish this one off. Let's see what Dirty P does. He's rocking right there by us in the 2 spot. Now I wish I would have went with Bryce even more over Ward. At least because Sanders is the tight end that we are going to go with. But oh well. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it does not. Maybe go Marshawn Lloyd here for a running back. And then we'll see what comes back to us. We'll take one more running back. Finish it off with a 3-6-7-2 is what it'll end up being. We're going to be eating a whole lot of points at tight end. Unless we do end up changing our mind again and going with the 3rd tight end. Guess part of it will depend on if there's any running backs that come back to us that we feel like might be worth taking. What's up, Steve? Thanks for stopping by. It's going well. We drafted one of those banana best ball teams before this one. It was interesting. I hadn't did one of them. It's a fun little concept. You take RB1 of the Vikings and Dallas Cowboys wide receiver 1 versus traditionally taking players like we do here. But then we hopped in a puppy. Dirty P's in here with us. It kind of fell apart on us. We don't really like the team that much, to be honest with you. It's kind of a mess, but sometimes you do well, sometimes you don't. We have Kyler, Penix, and Ward at quarterback. Pacheco, Swift, Ramondre, Dylan Sampson, and Lloyd at running back. We did the Chase Higgins thing from the one hole. Couldn't get Burrow to come back. We have Marv, Devontae Smith, Pickens, Jaden Higgins, and Kirk. We're going to take CJ if we could get him to come back as our QB2, but that didn't work either. Gesicki and Sanders at our tight end room. I mean, it's not a horrible team, but definitely not one of my favorites. I think we are probably going to go ahead and take a running back of some sort. We'll just eat the tight end position. Gesicki might give us some nice spike weeks. Hopefully Sanders will give us something the weeks Gesicki is quiet. But we talked about earlier, we just feel like this team needs another running back. Ramondre may lose his job. Sampson will be good for us early. We're going to take Keaton Mitchell. The missile. That's the team, though. Let's see what Dirty P did. He had some nice stacks. I like your team better than mine without even looking at it, Dirty P. I remember enough of it. Drake May, Dak Prescott. Ooh, we'll just act like that guy isn't on the team. There was no need for that. Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, Zach Charbonnet, Jarquez Hunter, Ja'Cory Corsley Myers, I believe is his last name, right? Merritt, that's right. I don't know why I was thinking it was Myers. You don't see him drafted too often. That's a nice little low-owned piece coming back from your Dallas, coming back as a bring back to your Dallas stuff. That's nice. CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Darnell Mooney, Trey Harris, Adam Thielen, MVS, Jake Ferguson, and Kincaid. Good tight end room. Plenty of firepower in your receiver room. Running back room, Brown, Walker, Chuba. You did the whole Seattle room, so okay. When Walker's killing it, he's killing it. If he's hurt, Charbonnet showed last year that he can step in and have a big game. Some dart throws at the end, and Hunter and Merritt. It's a nice team. You know, you got Drake stacked up with Diggs. You got Dak stacked up. Nice team for sure. It's not disqualified. We'll just act like he doesn't exist on it. Just entered my second Bulldog slow. I can't believe how quickly it's filling. I know that's what I was saying. I don't know. I might end up drafting mine here in a little bit tonight just because I don't want to do two of them slow. I got a headache though again. I don't know what it is. The last couple nights I've been getting headaches kind of bad. So I don't know. Maybe we will end up doing them slow. But I'm gonna get off here for tonight, guys. Tomorrow night is our night off. Saturday we chill. We do stuff with the family that night. Sunday we will be back. Dirty P is our viewer appreciation for this Sunday. We will be on. We can go ahead and do your draft first Sunday night since we don't have to spin the wheel or wait for people to come in. If for some reason you're running late, no biggie, partner. I'll wait on you. We'll do it second or something. Not a big deal. You guys have a good night. I'm sure I'll see y'all in some chat rooms and stuff, though, tomorrow. We'll talk to you later. It was fun as always.
But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you